So, Lisa's highly anticipated solo project, Alter Ego, has arrived. And let me tell you, YG Entertainment must be patting themselves on the back for creating the most dimensionless, directionless idol debut we've seen in a hot minute. Seriously, if you peeled back the layers of this concept, you wouldn't find depth or narrative. You'd just find wigs, eyeliner, and a designer perfume bottle. Keep in mind, this isn't just about hating for the sake of it. I'm here because I wanted to like this. I really did. But Alter Ego doesn't feel like a debut. It feels like a marketing experiment. And the result? A confusing cocktail of high-fashion visuals, generic pop trap sounds, and zero artistic conviction. First things first, let's talk about the concept. Alter Ego. Now, when I hear that, I expect nuance, exploration, a persona shift that reveals something deeper about the artist. But Lisa's alter egos? They feel less like artistic explorations and more like alternate Instagram aesthetics. We have Leather Lisa, Pink Barbie Lisa, Moody Goth Lisa, Budget Sci-Fi Lisa, and none of them talk to each other. There's no thread, no through line, just disconnected images trying to pass as a grand concept. This isn't alter ego. This is which editorial shoot are we referencing today? It's styling cosplay. No character work, no storytelling. I mean, how do you brand something so aggressively that you forget the point was music? Also, debuting with an alter ego concept is bold. It can be powerful when done right, but it's incredibly difficult to pull off. Why? Because it requires your audience to already understand who you are at your core in order to appreciate the contrast. If you don't have a clear, defined artistic identity yet, throwing in multiple alter egos just muddies the water. It becomes less of a revelation and more of a distraction. Lisa hasn't shown us her baseline persona yet. So what exactly is this altering from? Let's look at people who did make the alter ego concept land. Beyoncé with Sasha Fierce. It was a way for her to channel aggression and fearlessness that contrasted with her more composed real-life image. It made sense at the time because we knew Beyoncé. Nicki Minaj with Roman. The alter egos were chaotic, sure, but they had backstory, personality, tone. Roman wasn't just an outfit. Roman had bars that many of her fans love. Another alter ego is David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust, an entire persona that reflected the music, performance style, and even the audience's experience. These alter egos weren't just outfits and fonts, they were full characters, extensions or exaggerations of something authentic in the artist. With Lisa, there's nothing to grab onto, no foundation, just vibes. If Lisa wanted to sell us on this alter ego concept, we needed a core Lisa persona to start from, a musical narrative that evolved alongside the visuals, a defined story for each alter ego, a clear tone shift in sound, lyrics, or performance that reflected these personalities. And most of all, we needed her to act like she wasn't on it. Right now, it feels like she's being moved through these characters like a mannequin. Where's the personality? Where's the intention? I do have some quick fix ideas. How about she give us interludes explaining each ego? Release visuals that hint at their inner monologues. Design the track list to reflect emotional or psychological transformation. Literally anything that tells a story. Instead of this aesthetic musical chairs and pretty lighting thing she has going on. As for the rollout, it was a mess covered in rhinestones. Everything looked expensive, and yet nothing made sense. I swear, you could have told me they were teasing a makeup line, a Netflix sci-fi series, and a Met Gala invite, and I would have believed you. There was no musical hint, no narrative clue, just vibes, just aesthetic. And I know K-pop is often about visuals first, but even within that standard, this was absurdly scattered. You can't slap on a chrome font and 7 outfit changes and tell me you've explored the psyche of a global pop star. You've explored the Pinterest board of an overpaid branding team. And then there's the actual music, which, let's be real, was fine, passable, a little safe, but ultimately deeply unmemorable. The title track didn't push Lisa in any new direction vocally, lyrically, or creatively. It felt like something sitting in a demo folder that they decided to elevate with $1 million music video. The production was polished, sure, but that's not the same as good. There were no sonic risks, no storytelling through sound, just beat drops and pre-choruses that sound like they were created by AI trained on TikTok trends. There's no signature Lisa sound here. Nothing you can tie back to her and say, yes, this is hers. That's the biggest issue. If Lisa vanished tomorrow, there would be nothing on this album that made you think, only she could have made this. Here's the bigger issue though. Lisa hasn't made the leap from idol to pop star. Not really. We're not seeing a woman take creative control of her identity. We're seeing someone marketed as doing that. The difference? Authenticity, growth, purpose, none of which is present here. She hasn't earned her spot in these spaces she's suddenly appearing in. And before you scream Blackpink paved the way or she's already iconic, take a breath. Yes, she's famous. But famous isn't the same as respected. Famous doesn't mean you've proven your artistic chops. This brings me to Vanity Fair. You wanna tell me Lisa deserves a Vanity Fair cover now? Be serious. If you think Blackpink's work is enough to justify her being seen as a serious global artist, you're delusional. Respectfully, Blackpink's catalog, while impactful, is not diverse. It's not deep. It's for women performing a performance first, skill second kind of K-pop. And that's fine. Their fanbase doesn't care, and frankly, a lot of the general public doesn't either. But when you try to cross into global pop stardom, into a space where your artistry is measured against industry giants, you're playing a different game, and you need to come equipped. Now, let's be real. So much of Blackpink's identity has been built on vibe, performance, look, ambience. They've never been about musical innovation, and that's not inherently a crime. But it becomes a problem when fans and media alike start comparing them to acts who do operate on that level. The Blackpink members are now trying to insert themselves into spaces that were carved out by women who built their artistry brick by brick. You don't get to be called the next Beyoncé or Rihanna just because you have a good stylist and a Coachella slot. And what bothers me is that they're entering these arenas without being held accountable for their lack of evolution, without being asked to show more, without delivering more. It's not about gatekeeping, it's about standards. Now, let's look across the board. Rosé's solo, beautiful gowns, but musically, it felt like a whisper. Jennie's solo, a vibe, sure, but a short one. Jisoo's solo, safe to the point of being sterile. And now Lisa's solo is the flashiest, but it says the least. None of them have come out with a clear sonic fingerprint. Nothing that gives me, this is her lane. And maybe that's not their fault. These girls were brought up in a K-pop training system that systematically strips away individuality in favor of cohesion. It manufactures group identity while deprioritizing personal artistry. But let's be real. At this level of fame, with this much access, with the best producers, stylists, and budgets in the game, if other idols from smaller groups or newer gen acts can figure out a distinct image or message when they go solo, why can't Blackpink? And that brings us to the word no one wants to use: laziness. Not on Lisa's part necessarily, but laziness in production, in planning, in storytelling, in direction. It's the kind of laziness that comes from knowing the fan base will eat it up no matter what. The bare minimum will be defended. The branding will carry the rest. And so the team doesn't try harder. But here's the problem. When you reach a certain tier of the industry, that laziness shows. It stands out next to artists like Tate McRae, who has leaned fully into her athletic, angsty brand. You see the jersey, you hear the voice, you feel who she is. And Tyla, who brings her culture and body and voice into every second of her work. You know you're in her world the moment a track starts. With Lisa, there's no world, no signal, no stamp. Just borrowed concepts and expensive set design. No emotional anchor, no authorship. At the end of the day, Lisa isn't selling us anything. Not a message, not a sound, not even a real identity. Her branding feels hollow, like someone told her to be everything and she became nothing. And I say that with sadness, because she could be everything. She's got the charisma, the presence, the style, but that's not enough if there's no soul behind it, no intention, no reason. Lisa had a chance here, a golden one, to reintroduce herself as a solo artist, not just the dancer from Blackpink, to show her voice, her pen, her ideas. Instead, she gave us a curated mood board with an expensive PR push. And that's disappointing, because she has potential. But potential isn't enough anymore. The industry is saturated. The girls are coming out swinging. You can't soft launch a music career and expect legacy status. So here we are. Lisa's alter ego is a glossy, fragmented, half-baked debut that tries to say something but ends up saying nothing at all. You can love Lisa. You can stan Blackpink. But you should still be able to say, this wasn't it. And if we're really going to elevate K-pop artists to global pop standards, we better start demanding the same level of substance. Let's stop clapping for bare minimums dressed in LV. Lisa deserves better. And honestly, so do we.